Okay, so here's something to chew on. The Housemaid is based on a book that's been translated into 45 languages and sold over 3.5 million copies. That's a massive audience for a psychological thriller. So what is it about this story that resonates so widely?
That's a great question. I think it's the universal themes, right? Fear, entrapment, deception. These are things that hit a nerve no matter where you're from. And when you set all of that in a domestic environment, it becomes even more relatable. Everyone understands the idea of home as a safe space, so when that's turned upside down, it's inherently unsettling.
Exactly. And the movie wastes no time in establishing that tension. You've got Millie, played by Sweeney, who's just been released from prison and is living out of her car. She's desperate for a fresh start. And when she lands this job as a housemaid for the wealthy Winchester family, it feels like her luck is finally turning around. But, of course, it's not that simple.
Not at all. What I found so compelling about Millie is how layered she is as a character. She's not just some innocent victim. She's got this edge to her. She's resourceful. She's a survivor, and she's not above bending the truth to get what she needs. But at the same time, you can't help but root for her because she's trying so hard to rebuild her life.
Right? And Sweeney really nails that balance. She brings this vulnerability to Millie, but there's also this underlying toughness. You can tell she's been through a lot, and it's shaped her into someone who's not going to back down easily. And then you've got Amanda Seyfried as Nina Winchester, who's just a whole other level of unpredictable.
Oh, Amanda Seyfried was incredible. Nina is such a fascinating character because she's so hard to pin down. One moment she's this gracious, picture-perfect wife and mother, and the next she's completely unraveling. And then there's her backstory, being institutionalized multiple times. It adds this layer of instability that keeps you guessing. You're constantly questioning what's real and what's not with her.
And that's what makes her such a great foil for Millie. Nina's volatility creates this constant tension, and you can see how it traps Millie in this impossible situation. She can't just walk away because of her parole conditions, but staying means dealing with Nina's erratic behavior. And then there's Andrew, Nina's husband, who seems like the perfect guy at first glance.
Oh, absolutely. Brandon Sklenar plays Andrew with this effortless charm that makes you want to trust him. He's supportive, he's understanding, and he seems like the one stable presence in this chaotic household. But, of course, this is a psychological thriller, so you know there's more to him than meets the eye.
And that's one of the things I loved about this movie. It keeps you on your toes. Just when you think you've got a handle on who's trustworthy and who's not, the story throws you a curveball. The twists are so well executed, and they don't feel forced or out of nowhere. They're surprising, but they also make sense when you look back at the clues.
Exactly. And I think a lot of that comes down to the screenplay by Rebecca Sonnenschein. Adapting a best-selling novel is no easy task, especially one with such a massive following. But she managed to distill the essence of the book while also making it work as a film. The pacing, the dialogue, the way the tension builds, it's all so well done.
And let's not forget about Paul Feig's direction. He's known for his work in comedy, but he proves here that he's just as adept at handling suspense and drama. The way he uses the house itself as a character, it's this beautiful, seemingly perfect space. But there's this underlying sense of dread that permeates every scene. It's like the house is a metaphor for the story as a whole.
That's such a great point. The house is this idyllic, picture-perfect setting, but as the story unfolds, you start to see the cracks, both literally and figuratively. It's the perfect backdrop for a story about deception and hidden truths. And speaking of hidden truths, let's talk about the twists. Without giving too much away, I will say that they're some of the best I've seen in a while.
Oh, absolutely. The first twist completely caught me off guard, and just when I was recovering from that, the second one hit. It's like the movie keeps pulling the rug out from under you, but in a way that feels earned. The twists don't just shock you. They also add depth to the story and the characters.
And that's what makes the ending so satisfying. A lot of thrillers fall apart in the final act because the twists either feel too ridiculous or they don't tie up the story in a meaningful way. But The Housemaid sticks the landing. The payoff in the second half is so worth it. And it leaves you thinking about the moral complexities of the characters and their actions.
Right? And that's what elevates this movie from being just another thriller. It's not just about the suspense and the twists. It's about the characters, their choices, and the consequences of those choices. It's a story about fear, about being trapped, but also about resilience and survival.
Couldn't agree more. So, final thoughts? For me, it's a solid 7.5 out of 10. It's tense, it's engaging, and it keeps you guessing until the very end. Definitely worth a watch.
Same here. It's not perfect, but it's a highly entertaining ride with some great performances and a story that stays with you. If you're a fan of psychological thrillers, this one's a must-see. And honestly, I'm curious to see how it holds up on a second viewing. There's so much to unpack.
It's one of those movies where you notice new details every time you watch it. And I think that's a testament to how well crafted it is. It's not just a movie you watch. It's a movie you experience.
You've been listening to Movies First.
Available at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favourite podcast player. You can also stream on demand at Bytes.com.
This has been another quality podcast production from Bytes.com.